What's going on, guys? Welcome back to LOI Fan TV and episode 7 of season 2 of Cautiously Optimistic, the LOI TV live show. Joined today by Adzi, Liam, and Socko. The usual suspects now at this stage, I think, isn't it? The other two are kind of just roll off.
Roll off. Sure, well, yeah. Dead right.
How are we keeping? That's all good?
Good, man. Yeah, good to see you.
All good.
Feeling positive after the last few days. We'll get into it a bit more in depth, but just on the surface, happy enough?
Who's taking it away? Oh, yeah.
He wants to kick us off.
The Belgium game, yeah, I didn't see the game last night now, but I was at the Belgium game, but in spite of, it was being a second Belgian team, I thought it was quite good and so on, and good to get new lads introduced and whatnot. And I know last night was quite different, but it's still little steps in the right direction, I feel.
Yeah, 4 points from 6.
Christ.
What did you make of it, Socko? What did you think of it all?
Yeah, I thought Saturday was a savage performance. I will get into it later, but after 25 minutes, I was like, "Oh Jesus, it's going to be a long evening." I could definitely see it being 3 or 4-0. But out of nowhere, we just started kicking into gear, and from the 30th minute, pretty much until the rest of the game, we were on top. I'd say, bar their goal, which kind of came against the run of play, shocking set piece to concede. I thought we were really impressive, and I thought a lot of players stepped up on Saturday. Little bit the opposite. Last night, I was disappointed with quite a few players. I thought the team as a whole didn't really perform, and we struggled. We just seem to struggle against teams that are kind of beneath us, if you want to say. So 2 kind of contrasting games and kind of lots of talking points from both.
Yeah, Liam, yourself, we just agree with kind of the lads so far.
Can't really complain about what either of them have said, really. From my point of view, we do so much better and under pressure as the underdogs, not favourites for the game. But once we're favourites for the game, it's complete opposite. It's we don't know how to really play as a favourite. But then again, Kenny's putting us in the right direction, so I can't really it's gonna be baby steps, really. Even from grassroots up, even look at the under-21s yesterday. That's all Kenny, really. You know what I mean? Obviously, Jim Crawford, everything like that, but it's going to take time. So it's a process. What do you think of it, Ross?
Joe, we'll just jump into the both games and we'll break them down a little bit more before I go into Mando. We sparked a little bit of debate in our group chat the other day. Probably over nothing, really, but Soccer described the 2-2 draw with Belgium as a massive result. And I kind of pulled them up on it, just not thinking that anyone would really agree with me. But the kind of general consensus in the group was that maybe it wasn't a massive result, it was kind of a good result. Such a stupid debate, over something so kind of minuscule, but it kind of escalated a bit. But I just think it's important in these types of games, if you get me, to not get too high after these one-off games, good results, and then not get too low if you have a one-off bad game, if you get my point of view there. So maybe not describing this is a massive result, and then not describing if we had a loss last night, the Luxembourg game, as a massive disaster kind of thing. Stop getting too high, too low, just trying to keep that level head a little bit with it was the kind of point of view I was looking at it from. But on the surface, obviously, you drawn with Belgium, fantastic side. Obviously, kind of adds a touch on it. It was their second string side. There's no two ways about it. If you look at the team, Mignolet in goal, and what's his name? Is Boyat at the back, kind of Batshuayi up top. They're not world beaters. They're decent, good professionals, good players, very, very good players. They'll probably walk into our team, no bother, but they're not world beaters, and you would probably expect to be competing with a team of that caliber. Would I be right in saying that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
It was like that again. As I said, it was a Belgian second team, but it's a good Belgian second team. They're no pushovers. They've had Mignolet. He's been very, very good when he was time in the Premier League. Benteke a few years ago, obviously not the same since he went to Palace, was quite good. Batshuayi is a good player. Torgan Hazard as well, isn't he? Is he still with Dortmund as well?
I think he is. Yeah.
He's in and out of it. He's been in the Dortmund team for a while. Dedrick
Tielemans.
Boyata, yeah, Tielemans as well, captain of the team. It was as expected, but like that, they set up to play well. Obviously, they had a few lads there that are eager to get into the World Cup squad too, so that was always going to be a bit of a challenge for us too. But all in all, good, very good performance I felt from our point of view. When we went 1-0 or 2-1 down, there was no real like fear or there's something. I know it's only a friendly and whatnot, but you still feel Ireland can get back into it. Whereas if that happened, a few years ago, you'd kind of be, hoping and praying and whatnot, but you don't really tend to go mad or anything now. You just kind of not expect it, but you can feel it's something you don't do of Ireland anymore anyway.
Yeah. Soccer, the style of play has improved so much. Obviously, kind of Mick and Martin O'Neill against the likes of Belgium would be sitting behind the ball, but we kind of really got up on Belgium's faces, put them under pressure, had a high press, kept the ball well at times, and really kind of had a go at them as well, which is something that's really positive to see. And it shows that we can go toe to toe with kind of better sides on paper, maybe, and have a good go. And it looks like a positive kind of style of play for the future, and something that the fans can really get behind.
Yeah, definitely. I think a huge thing about Stephen Kenny since we heard a few weeks ago, since the England loss, 3-0 loss at the end of 2020, he said that'll never ever happen again. We set up with a back four that day, and I think most Ireland teams up until that point, if you came up against a stronger side, you'd set up the Ireland side kind of almost like damage limitation mode, like just trying to get a result. But since the England game, I think Kenny's played a back three in every single one except for Andorra, if I'm not wrong. So even when I know it's their second string side, but even when the likes of Belgium come to the Aviva, we set up how we want to play, and we don't give in to like how the other team wants us to set up. Like if Belgium or Germany are coming to town, we don't put like 5 or 6 behind the ball. We play the way we want to play regardless, which I really, really like. And we really put it up to them, got it in their faces. The front three in Knight, Ogbenye and Robinson were absolutely fantastic. It just seemed to click. And the pressing was insane. It's so satisfying. Like the first 5 minutes, like we got on their faces, and you'd bunch them into the corners. They tried to play out from the back as well, and all of a sudden there'd be 3 or 4 green shirts around. And like when the ball goes out for throwing, or even a corner, like the crowd cheers like almost like a goal. Like it's really, really positive to see. But that said, after 20-25 minutes, I was like, oh God, it's going to be a long night. Batshuayi had a really good chance to make it 2-0. And I thought initially it's going to be one of them nights, but Ogbenye came up out of nowhere. It was one of the most memorable goals I've ever seen at the Aviva. It was fantastic. It seemed to take a little deflection, like the overhead kick.
Yeah.
But taking nothing away. And I think Philip Quinn from... Philip Quinn, one of the journalists, I don't know how he managed to find it out, but he had a piece in the paper saying it was Ireland's first overhead goal in like 600 goals Ireland have ever scored, which I thought was fascinating.
Not Roddy Whelan now, the shitter.
The shitter. But kind of gone off on a tangent there. The goal we conceded in the second half, kind of against the run of play, really poor goal to concede. We just seem to switch off totally. There's 3 or 4 white shirts in the box, totally unmarked. We started the second half excellently. Should have went 2-1 up. McLean had that chance, and I don't know why. Like Robinson thought he could have got a flick on. And to have that character to come back, we seem to be making a habit of it now, just scoring late goals. The 48,000 in the Aviva, like the roof came off the place. It was fantastic. Chio involved again, and Savage headed by Brown, who took his chance off the bench. Wasn't too good last night, but yeah, full credit. And my think it is a massive result, and I know it's the second string team, but like you're beating Belgium, you're drawing with Belgium. Like I think that's a really, really positive result and a massive step forward. Like looking at where we were a year ago, like struggling to beat Luxembourg. and just all the results along the way. I think it's another really important step along this with the direction this team's headed in.
Yeah. So obviously you're touching on kind of the disappointing goal to concede from set piece. Anthony Barry coming back to bite us there, obviously set piece expert, isn't he? As I was thinking about it as well, obviously huge shame to lose him. Obviously Kenny ideally would have kept him on board. If it was, maybe it's not a financial thing, but possibly if it is, it's so frustrating seeing that Bobby Keane getting that salary when it could be kind of going towards Anthony Barry and these top class coaches, keeping them on board, which is 100% a shame. But I just have to forget about that and just move on. But yeah, it is a shame to see that money just going down the pisser, isn't it? Liam, obviously, kind of Soccer was touching on it there, the atmosphere, even though it was a friendly, unbelievable to see, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, it was very good. It's one of them. It reminds me like the Germany night. Obviously, the Shane Long. There's been like memorable moments where the crowd really are the 12th man in the Aviva. Now, unfortunately, last night it was completely opposite. It was a bit strange, obviously, given there's still 30,000 there. But coming back to obviously it's their B team, but that B team that they're playing still Premiership, Bundesliga. Like our B team, when we play our B team, they're League One standard. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, first time it's League One.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like our first team, we've only Seamus Coleman, Duffy, and Matt Doherty playing in the Premiership compared to. Well, we wasn't in the squad though. You know what I mean?
He's injured.
Wasn't in the squad. So like there is such a gulf in class, regardless of which way you want to spin it. So it is very easy to say, "Oh, it's not a big." It is a massive result, and then you can see then the opposite for saying, "Oh, don't get too carried away." But for me, it's a step in the right direction, 100%. Regardless if it's only a friendly. A draw against any Belgium side is good, and I also like the fact they filmed Thierry Henry on the screens for about 30 seconds, and he got a big boo. So it was good. It's good.
Anthony Barry beside him for that as well, wouldn't it?
Yeah, two absolute snakes. Moving on to the Lithuania game, kind of touching on it there. Obviously, 1-0 win, the late winner through Troy Parrott. Just touching first on that. What you were saying, Liam, the kind of attendance and stuff. Lanny putting in a good comment here saying the ticket prices are a joke. €45 for a friendly against Lithuania. It is outrageous, isn't it? And I think one of Kieran Burke actually, Liam, with Longford, that was saying like, don't just stand behind the goal. Why didn't just give that to school kids for a $5 or just something, anything like just something to fill the stadium? And yeah, it's so over. It's very, very overpriced. I think I saw a couple of tickets at £90 there yesterday for a friendly against Lithuania on a Tuesday night. It's just not great, is it?
Yeah, it's really isn't great. Like that stand was on the right for me, where my seats are. Obviously, it was strange. Like, at least fill it. Like, as you said, find some way to kind of invite the schoolboy clubs, do something like put the school. I don't know, like, you know what I mean. But the pricing seems to be very, very high. Obviously, I have a season ticket, and that's pretty much like if you're to pay, you're getting so much better value getting a season ticket than paying 45 for that, and then I don't know, what was it, 60 or so for the Belgium game? Like, that's half my season ticket. Like, you know what I mean? So that's actually the prices are ridiculous. But coming back to Lithuania game, I thought the back three was very good. Brown had a very poor game. You can really see the drop off. Obviously Hurahan and then Brown. You could really see the big difference between Cullen and Hendrick then against Belgium. I think the way I was looking at it, and I was saying it to my dad, I think why not give Gav Kilkenny a run in the senior team? He's playing week in, week out for Bournemouth, and obviously Hurahan's with Sheffield United now. I wouldn't say there's much difference, and Kenny has a big emphasis on playing the youth, so why not give someone like Gav Kilkenny minutes in the senior team, or even Connor Coventry? You know what I mean? That's where my head's at the moment. Just bring them in, get them around the camp. I wouldn't have any issue, because for me, Hurahan isn't the answer for the national side, unfortunately.
Yeah, no, I'm absolutely sick to death of Conor Hurahan. The amount of times you've said on this live show, The only good thing I remember him doing in an Ireland jersey is scoring that free kick against Georgia. He absolutely lives off that for Ireland. He's done nothing before. He has the odd good spell at club level. I think at Swansea, I think he had a decent spell for a couple of weeks. I was sick to death of him. Get him. He's in his 30s now. Move on. I don't want to see him playing for Ireland anymore, to be honest with you. I'm sick of him. He didn't offer anything last night. I thought he was awful last night. Sick of Conor O'Ran. I just don't want to see him in there anymore. As you said, you're spot on, Liam. Conor Coventry, Gavin Kilkenny, bring them in, give them a chance. Top players. Gavin Kilkenny's playing for Bournemouth. They're going for promotion. I think Sheffield United are in the playoffs. Like, he's higher in the table than him. There's no excuses anymore. This needs to be done. Conor O'Ran needs to go for me, I think.
I thought Jason Lumley would have got a run out last night at least. Obviously, didn't feature against Belgium. So that was my thing as well. But Liam, I probably agree with you. Yeah, what Kenny kind of seems to do is bring in players for their first senior international camp, and not play them and just let them have the experience, and then on their second international camp they'd start to see game time, like we saw like Jamie McGrath last summer get a few minutes here and there. Will Keane brought in, like, just playing the bench, and then kind of brought in then in the next.
Conor Rowland was just in the squad,
brought in on the next one. But we saw this one, Jimmy Dunn, Conor Ronan brought in for this one, but left out of both matchday squads. So
Sykes as well, I think, wasn't
it? Sykes as well. Sykes was in the matchday squad. Yeah. So Dunn and Ronan are the next two. Now, the June, like, I know they're Nations League games, but the 4 games in 10 days is going to be so important for, like, squad rotation. So they're the next two in line to get their first cap. So you'd imagine with Kilkenny and Coventry, hopefully in June, if Coventry if Ireland don't qualify for the Euros, etc., if they're available to play for the seniors, they'll come in the June window, maybe not get any minutes, but just put the foot in the door and then get their opportunity on the second international camp. That's what Kenny has seemed to be doing. Like Chio, did Chio come in last summer? But
I think Chio's first one, he didn't get any minutes. I don't think on his first.
I think he came on for like 1 minute against Hungary or something,
yeah.
and then he had a bigger impact then October, November. So we've seen that with it. That seems to be kind of the way it goes.
Yeah, I think it's a good way of doing it, though.
Yeah,
it's like, because you're keeping them. You know, I don't know how much they get paid for international football, if any money at all. But like, it's pure based off motivation and wanting to play for your country. So when you get that first call into the squad, like, say we use Conor Rowland for example, and he is training with the lads, but he's not getting into it. It's probably purposely done by Kenny. Like, look, you're going to be training with us, we're interested, but you need to keep improving at club level now if you want to get into the matchday squad and so on. I reckon, like that. I reckon for the June one he will, but like that, he'll have to keep backing up his performances at club level and slowly, putting them in. Sure, remember Aaron Connolly making his debut under Mick McCarthy. Like, granted, he scored a few goals for Brighton against Spurs that time, and then he was lumped in immediately, and it hasn't turned out the best from at club level and stuff either. So I think it's just like benefiting not only their international careers but their club careers as well.
Yeah. I think in the case for Ireland, though, if a player kind of bursts onto the scene in the Premier League, they're realistically going to start for.
That's probably fair enough.
Aaron Connolly was a weird one because he kind of after that Spurs game he went off the ball completely, which was a huge shame. But hopefully he's starting to recapture that form a little bit at Middlesbrough. An interesting one. I don't want to forget about. Obviously, we're talking about Conor Rowland about that. Jamie McGrath as well. We can't forget about him because I know, like, he came in the last phase international window and he was superb against likes of Portugal. So much energy, really good on the ball. Obviously at Wigan, I think it's a case of. It's actually kind of similar to the Ireland kind of situation where they're kind of bringing them into the camp and kind of getting to know them. And maybe this is adapting from the Scottish League to the English League physically. It's a really big change. So I think that's maybe taking Jamie McGrath some time to kind of come to terms with maybe. And it's a really high competition for places. Wigan in a title race as well. They're not going to be chopping and changing the starting 11 every week. So it's a really hard team to get into. But I think it's really important that we don't forget about him because he's such a talented player, and on his day possibly starts for us, I think, as well. So we have good options there, 100%. And I think Jamie McGrath will definitely come back into the mix, hopefully for June, and hopefully can put a run of games together before the end of the season for Wigan.
If I may, just one last word on Troy Parrott. I think he did the first media event. It might have been 8 or 9 days ago, and he was super honest. I don't know if any of you saw. There was a lot of questions about his loan move and how it didn't work out for him at Millwall, Ipswich, and and Troy was so honest. He was like, I had a bit of growing up to do, and he finds himself more mature now, and of course, he's still so young. He's younger than all of us, and of course it's going to take time to find his feet. And he'd such a when did he make his Premier League debut? 17, 18. He'd
something like that. Do you remember Rainier getting the ball and all?
Yeah, he's put on that pedestal so early in his career, that it's almost impossible just to keep that level from when you're 17. So the quotes from him 8 or 9 days ago were fascinating. He said he realized one day you only get one shot at this football game, and he wasn't going to let him pass it by. So that's when he kind of said he needed to go play regular football, and he's doing really well at MK Dons so far this season. Kenny kind of said the same during the week. Keith Andrews said the same on, what day was it, Monday? And then he came on last few minutes against Belgium. A lot of people saying he should have started against Lithuania. Will Keane got his debut instead.
In hindsight, they're probably right.
didn't kind of, there wasn't a whole lot to shout about from Keane, and it's only his first start, so Jesus Christ, we won't talk much about him. But Troy came on, took his chance. It was it was the most incredible 5-minute spell from him. I know he came on 15-20 minutes ago, but there was a 5-minute spell where he had that it was an unbelievable save by the keeper, tipped it over the bar. He hit the bar. He was involved in one of the offside goals, I think, and then he scored the amazing last minute winner, second last kick of the game, and just he seemed to. It's funny, all his international goals. His first one under Kenny against Andorra, we were 1-0 down, and he got us out of a hole, and he got us out of a hole there again last night. So he seems to kind of do well under pressure and in them tricky situations, which is a savage trait to have. But Jesus Christ, what a strike! And that'll do him the world of good going into June, and you're just hoping he can kick on now. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, Troy Parrott. I think a thing with Troy is so much was hyped up about him 15, 16, 17 years of age, and the pressure being put on young kids these days is outrageous. They're kind of YouTube videos being made, Twitter, Instagram, everyone talking about them stuff. They get this kind of false sense of have made it at such an early age. I think Troy possibly had that a little bit. Also saying kind of very honest and open about it as well. And I think it's actually worked well for him that he's kind of gone under the radar a little bit with MK Dons. He's putting in the hard work. He's putting in a lot of good performances, playing every week as well, which is crucial. At Ipswich and Millwall, it's kind of a few injuries and things like that in and out of the team, whereas with MK Dons, he's getting in every week, promotion chasing side as well, playing in a couple of different positions, which is good for him as well. He's benefiting from that, I think, across the front three. And yeah, I think it's a case of not building these players up so much at such a young age, because they're so immature. We're all the same at that age. If people were telling us we're great and all this, it's going to get to your head so much, and you're not going to work as hard, and you think you've made it. With Troy, I think it's worked out really well for him, and he's coming into that kind of, was he 2021 kind of age, coming into that, getting that mature head on his shoulders. He's kind of going about his business, but so much ability, so much potential. People saying, he's kind of not good enough and things like that. And he's at 19 years of age. It didn't work out for him. It's not good enough. Crazy stuff coming out of people's mouths with that. So I think it's worked out really, really well for him. And yeah, he's an absolutely fantastic player. I think I know it wasn't the best opposition against Andorra, but no one else in the pitch was standing up to be counted. He got the ball. I think he made something happen, scored the goal, and won us the game. So he has that character about him as well. And yeah, no, a really, really exciting prospect. And I want to give a quick shout out to Nathan Collins as well. It seems like he goes under the radar at times a little bit as well, but obviously playing a decent bit in the Premier League as well for Burnley. Fantastic centre back, and deservedly got man of the match last night as well. I thought he was super.
Yeah, no complaints there really. No complaints there really. Nathan, I never realised how tall he is. I seen him in the match
presence.
squad photo, like just a big lad.
Yeah.
Decent with his feet as well. He can hit a pass. I do know he's playing regularly, well, in and out of the Burnley squad. Hopefully they don't go down. If they do go down, he probably get more minutes down the Championship. But obviously he was with Stoke, wasn't he? He was with Stoke, wasn't he?
Yeah. 12
So
million or something, like he's
yeah,
a
Oh,
lot.
Jesus. Not a bad price tag.
yeah, like he's a good player. Definitely one for the future. He actually surprised me because that was his debut last night as well. So I didn't really know what to really expect. I remember last time I really heard about him was when he got sent off for Burnley there a month or so ago. But I was very actually pleasantly surprised by his performance.
Yeah, definitely learning a lot from Sean Dyche as well. Sean Dyche, not probably not the band of football Kenny wants to be playing, but as you said, he's quite good with his feet. So, but lads, we will move on. Unless anyone has anything else to say about the international break to wrap us up, we'll move on to the LOI stuff. Bohemians.
Cleveland Keller didn't do too bad.
Right, fire away.
Didn't have
Cleveland
much to do,
Keller,
but
he's
he did like he wasn't. I don't think he had the chance to give a performance, say like Zunu or stuff has, because every time Bazunu's played, he's had a lot to do and he's been excellent. But in fairness, Queven came in and like that he's now made. He like as I said, he didn't. There was no like excellent performance, and that wasn't his fault. It was just the way it was set up. But he's come in and he's shown that look, he's not going to let the number 1 jersey go down. It's anyone's to grab at this stage. I mean, I was even talking to a few of the other lads about like Mark Travers as well with Bournemouth. You know, he's obviously going to get his chance and whatnot. So we're kind of spoiled for choice, but I think it's given Kenny a good headache now, seeing Keller in the Ireland jersey, seeing how we play and how well Keller does play with the likes of feet and stuff, because that's what Kenny wants to do and whatnot. It's going to be interesting now for the Nations League games. See, like, depending on who's up for selection and who's available, but it's given he didn't give himself a bad case, so can't complain with that from him.
Absolutely. Yeah, the competition and goal is a bit outrageous, isn't it? We won't go into the James Talbot Ed McGinty debate. It's kind of because I kind of forgot to mention that last week. Ed McGinty kind of took under the radar a little bit when we were discussing potential goalkeepers to go in ahead of Talbot. We won't.
Kenny. Okay.
Oh, we will.
I was delighted he didn't play. I'll say it. I was delighted he didn't play. He's useless.
I think Brian Myers should be in ahead of Talbot if you're going to pick a keeper. Obviously, the under-21s had a big match there against Sweden, so I can understand why he wasn't. Yeah, exactly.
But Brian Myers got man of the match there last night as well, didn't he?
Yeah, and the under-21s bench was full of League of Ireland players as well, which was great to see. So the league's definitely improving the standard, everything like that. So, but it's either Ed McGinty or Brian Maher for me for the League of Ireland goalkeepers to get called up next, personally.
I don't want to have a huge go at James Talbot because it feels like he's got a bit of stick on Twitter and stuff like. But yeah, I think Ed McGinty would have been my choice personally. But maybe it was just Stephen Kenny knew that it wasn't going to be much game time for this goalkeeper coming in. Actually, it ended up being second choice. Maybe it's not the right thing to say.
I think it's just because Talbot's been in the squad and he's familiar with the setup and whatnot.
Based,
yeah.
McGinty was Shamrock Rovers' goalkeeper. He'd be in there, you'd imagine. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Absolutely. Kenny was asked about that during the week, and he kind of reflected on like Talbot's experience. He's played in the Viva many times now, like European nights. So say it's just that more than anything. But like we've seen so much rotation between like the third choice and the second choice since Kenny's come in. So like there's definitely in June it'd be interesting to see like what are the chances that. Like no one would have expected Bazunu and Travers to be ill and injured before this break. So coming into June now, if one of them drop out, it's up to Mar or McGinty or whoever's available to come in and step up. It'd be interesting to see.
What was his name with the third choice keeper in the end again?
O'Reilly, was it?
O'Leary.
Max O'Leary, wasn't it? Oh yeah. Do you reckon that how many goalkeepers would it take before Stephen Kenny calls up Darren Randolph? Do you reckon? I reckon Stockman Anthony gets called up before him.
Christ.
Yeah, I don't know what he must have been raging when Max O'Leary gets called up ahead of him, like Darren Randolph. Like, oh, so funny.
I know
after the comments he couldn't have been, I don't think.
I know we said last week, but we were texting in the chat, and I was like, "Oh, maybe like you've a leg to stand on, maybe like." But he's only played like 2 games. I actually checked it; it was like 0 games in the last 12
played a minute, I don't think, because
senior game.
number 1 and Ariola's number 2, isn't it? So he's good voice doesn't get a minute, like.
Yeah.
He's with Alexander Berg, so I don't think he's complaining.
Yeah, right, yeah. Nice wage as well. Nice wage. Before we jump into the LOI games, if you could drop a like on the stream if you are enjoying it so far, it would be much appreciated. If you get around that 50 like mark, that would be fan-bloody-tastic. And if you can subscribe if you are new around here as well, I think we're 50 away from the 3K mark, only 50. So do smash that subscribe button if you haven't done it already. But yeah, the LOI is back this Friday night. And we start off at Dalymount Park with Bohemians taking on league leaders, I believe, Derry City. Tough game for Bows. Keith, I think I said it in the group earlier. Keith Long will have been grateful for that week off to try and kind of rejuvenate this side, but it's not an easy game to come back to. Probably the hardest game he could have picked.
Yeah, especially against top of the table, and I don't see Derry slowing down anytime soon. They've been absolutely fantastic. They've had a great start to the season and so on. In fairness, it could be a game where Keith Long could be going out into the lads saying, look, it's a fresh start and why not do it against the best opposition? So just nice and refresh for them, but at the same time I think Derry are just miles ahead of Bows at the moment and so on. So it'll be very difficult for Bows to get any sort of result out of that.
Give us your score prediction that you put in the group earlier.
I said 3-0 Derry. Just being honest.
It'd be when Finn Harps go up to Bows now. Ads be like, no, I fancy Finn Harps with 4-1. But I'm heading up to this on Friday night, looking forward to it. Like on the face of it, it's hard to see past the Derry win. As he said, Keith Long could look at it as a fresh start and just say, go out there, give your best. And like every week we see like funny results in the League of Ireland. Not especially last season, not so much so far this season, but like anyone can kind of get a result against anyone. As I say, for Bows, it'd be more of a case of just hanging on as long as it kind of similar to Lithuania, Ireland last night, hanging on the game. Try to catch them on the break. Try to catch them on the break.
Well, he was be raging. Like they're supposed to be kind of like on a level playing field to Derry.
Just try catch up. Well, like Derry, one of the only 2 unbeaten sides left in the league. Bows, like
who are the other?
One win, 4
Sligo,
draws. Sligo, the other one.
Rovers.
Bows 1 win, 4 draws, 1 loss. Like but Bows looking at it, they take a draw against Derry, but hard to see past a Derry win for this one. They've been sick so far this year. Like no one seems to be stopping them at the moment.
Yeah, Liam, do you agree? Away win?
Yeah, I feel sorry for the Bows fans. Really, I think this could be hold on for as long as possible. It's going to be standard. Sit back, soak up the pressure. Hopefully, they don't score. I think Derry 2-0. 2-0, I think Derry.
Hang in there.
I think Derry will win as well. I think we're on 2-1, but I feel like we're kind of are we overlooking Bows a tiny bit? Like I'm kind of.
No,
I mean, they're really that bad. Like I don't know.
When I saw them at Shells, they were so bad, so poor. And I was like, oh, surely. Just like, I can't see it. And probably the fact that we've all went for a Derry win here, they'll nick a draw or something.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I don't like the way everyone's so confident.
I think there's a Bows fan in the comments, and he just goes 3-0. That's generous. So it's it just goes to show if their own fans are saying that. Like,
I think the massive thing for Bows, if Bows are to get anything out of this, like Promise has to be on form. He's such a massive player for them this year. Like they're kind of one of their main arguably their only goal scoring threat. So if he's on his game, they might get a point out of it. But like, it's hard to see past the Derry win.
It is a huge Keith Buckley shaped hole in midfield, isn't it? And even those players in the dressing room
Lovely
as well.
line.
Not even on the pitch, just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well. Your Derek Penders, your Keith Buckleys, your kind of Rob Cornwall's characters, kind of those lads in the dressing room are crucial. Aren't they? Even in the derby, bows were a little bit flat. They weren't flying into tackles as much as they usually would be. Keith Buckley might not be the best player in the world, but he gets it stuck into tackles. He'll break the play up and things like that.
He's a player who you don't want to play against. He's that
Exactly.
sort. He was that. They don't have that sort of character. Sure, even there was a video before the derby. I think Bows fans are sharing it. It was 2018. They beat us 2-1. It was in the 99th minute. But in the huddle beforehand, you see Derek Pender, and he's there, pointing the finger out, and he's going absolutely nuts. That you'd run like it'd be like you ran through a wall from.
Yeah.
They're just missing that. Yeah.
Last derby, they were tame.
Yeah, like it was 1-0 to us, and by no means, like we weren't great by no means, but they just didn't impose themselves on us. So, they just someone needs to step up in that dressing room. It might not be the best player, but someone just step up and just grab the games now by the scruff of the neck and just be willing to die for the crest.
Yeah, and you're looking at Dawson Devoy. You're not like he's a very, very talented player, but you're not scared going to play against him. He's not going to kind of do you in a tackle. Kind of same with Jordan Flores, the kind of nice, kind of creative, deep line playmaker types. There's not that kind of bit of nastiness in them really. Like you're not petrified going out there to play against them. Whereas if you're playing against like a Greg Bulger at Sligo, players like that are going to kind of 50-50s, they'll do you to win the ball, but they're strong in the tackle. Those types of midfielders.
The only player they have like that is Talbot, I'd say. But he's not. He'll shout and lead from the goal, but like you need someone else out there, running after and chasing after everything. So,
and like I remember we saw him out at Dundalk, he ran junior. I don't think he's featured an awful lot, but those types, like I think they don't seem to like kind of, I don't know. You don't want to accuse players of this, but
you don't want to
don't look like to put it all into it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't label them, but like remember especially in that game. I've never seen a player get pushed off the ball so easily, and like him and Flores like have kind of had slow enough starts this season, and they're the type of signings you want. Yeah, you want them to be really, really showing for you this season, like making an impact, and they just haven't so far.
Yeah, even losing Breslin and stuff. He was a bit of a kind of character from left back and stuff as well. Great signing of Pats, but these types of players, I don't know. What's the best? It remains to be seen, but I think it's probably it's hard every season to replace so much your dressing room. It's such a tough job for Keith Long, and I think this season was probably the first time where he's maybe going to see the real kind of how tough it is to replace players year on year. I think, especially losing your captain and stuff as well. But we've touched enough on that. We've all gone for an away win, basically. Yeah. I think this should be unanimous, but we can have a quick chat. Dundalk UCD should be home win, shouldn't it?
I went for a draw.
Yeah, I think I put down draw for this as well. I think
just based off how Dundalk have had drawn like 5 games.
Actually, they lost against Drogheda, didn't they?
Yeah, and UCD came off drawing against Bows there as well. So
so Dundalk are struggling a bit actually. All the draws are now
5 or 6 draws, is it?
5 out of 7, yeah.
1 win, is it? Yeah.
They even won a game, have they?
They'd won 1, I think, didn't they? I think they beat
5 and 1. Yeah.
Yeah, they drew 5, won, lost 1. Mental season so far. They beat they drew Chelsea. I can't even remember who they beat, to be honest. But yeah, was Bows? No, I can't remember. But yeah, I think I'd go for the home win. But I think you could be right with the draw. But surely not going to draw again, like statistics.
Don't speak to us soon.
Yeah. What do you think, Liam?
I fancy Dundalk here. Obviously, they're not in a great run of form, and if there's any team really to bounce back, it is against UCD. Obviously, they're struggling. They're always going to be struggling down the bottom. But then again, on the other hand, they're UCD obviously picking up results, and they're not playing the worst football either, and they are creating chances, and they're not conceding many goals. Obviously, they had that rare one against Drogheda where they conceded 4, I think. But I'm going with a Dundalk home win here.
Yeah, fair. So two home wins. We've gone for 2 draws there. So kind of a mixed bag in that one. It'll be interesting to see how it goes down. Obviously we're kind of touching on there, lads, that Sligo are unbeaten, and they're unbeaten up until this season because they play host to the mighty Reds, who will escape the showgrounds with all 3 points this weekend, I believe. Yeah, no, I'm only joking. I obviously, Shells. If you had taken that Finn Harps game out of the kind of reckoning, it's a good start to the season with that game. Jesus Christ! But this type of game that might suit our setup better because we're going to sit back, we're going to kind of soak up the pressure, and we're going to try and hit them on the counter attack. Might nick something, might not. Remains to be seen. Aidan Keena, of course, the danger man for Sligo. What is it, 5-6 goals maybe so far this season?
Yeah, this month's
Really
player of the month, I think.
Yeah, super signing for them. So yeah, he's definitely one to keep an eye out for. Huge task for the likes of Luke Byrne and Aaron O'Driscoll to keep him quiet. But Shells have kind of been decent on the road this season. Nicked a few points, and they'll definitely I think it'll be a tough game for Sligo. I don't think it'll be an easy game, especially after coming off the back of that loss to Finn Harps. Shells come out here with a point to prove, and it'll definitely be difficult for Sligo to break them down, I think. But I think Sligo will have enough and narrowly nick the win. Keep up the
I think the way Shells play, it's kind of similar to Rovers in a way, like similar formation, and Duff likes to go out and get after teams and stuff as well. It might suit because Sligo, as the game goes on, Sligo wear a little bit, and they kind of fade out of games.
Staying low for like till 60, 70 and just nick something later on in the game.
Yeah, that's it. Like if you're just wearing them, event, I think Sligo could give him. Like I still go for the Sligo win just because they've been playing well and they've come out in their last few games. They've come out on fire, scoring all sorts of goals and how many goals in the first half. So I think they'll just put it away in the first half, and I don't think Shells will have the quality in them to come back and nick it 2 or 3 goals or whatever they need.
Jesus, yeah. Probably want to score 2 or 3 goals. Socko Liam, how do you think this is going to go down? Probably kind of routine, and well, not routine, but should be a home.
Well, as you said, it's 2 ways looking at it. Like Shells could have a point to prove after that Finn Harps game, or on the other hand, just like continue that bad form into this one. And I've just been thinking about that. Like it was an awful way to go into the international break, and that might still be on their minds. Again, I don't like to kind of say too much, but like, if Aidan Keena is on form, like they'll find it. So, and the Sligo's like front 2, front 3. If they're on form, like Shells will front, like if they're conceding 3 to Finn Harps, like it might be a bit more versus the likes of Sligo. But yeah, I think if Shelbourne just going to soak up the pressure, hit Sligo on the counter, they might get a result from this game. But I went for a home win, and I think it will be. Liam Buckley's sides have been super this season. One of only 2 unbeaten sides left in the league. And I think it's going to be a home win. Sorry.
Sorry to yourself.
Yeah, I think it's Rovers really to lose. I was even going to nearly wear my Rovers jersey to see just to wind Ross up a bit. But yeah, I think it's going. I fancy Sligo. Like Liam Buckley's done amazing. You talk about Keith Long's kind of recruitment. I think Liam Buckley's got it spot on this year. Obviously, Aidan Keena, Hamilton, the likes of them sort of players that you wouldn't really have, like no one knew. They would just hit the ground running, scored in goals. I think Greg Bulger's been injured though, hasn't he? There's no real time. Yeah. There's no like time frame on when he's going to get back into the side.
It'll be a huge boost, by the way, when he comes back as well.
Absolutely, like I'd say he's a massive character. Obviously with all of his experience in the league, but I still fancy Sligo to get all 3 points here at home. Is this the game that they moved to the Saturday, or am I?
Moved to the Friday, not the Saturday, which is just shambles. Like,
yeah,
way easier for Shells fans to get up on the Saturday instead. Like, like last week as well, or week's notice, shocking form for the fans. So there mightn't be as many as there would have been. So that way, I'm not sure what the figures are like for the way end, but definitely a shame for a lot of Shells fans. Probably won't be able to make it up to the game now. Because Sligo's a deadly away day as well. It's a brilliant weekend in Sligo as well.
Yeah, you said a ball a while ago. Yeah.
Actually, I might go up to I might go to the second game of this now. Actually, whenever that is, over the summer or whatever. But yeah, I think this will kind of bring huge question marks around Duff. Obviously, kind of suffering his heaviest loss of the season. How he kind of reacts to that as a kind of a new manager in the game as well. Whether kind of it'll tell us a lot about how he manages and what he's going to get out of his players in this game, and can he lift the dressing room after a real blow. I think it'll tell us a lot about that as well. So big weekend for Damien Duff, and even if they do narrowly lose, if the performance is right, there's a lot of positives to take from that then for the next week or whatever. So big question marks around Duff. But what kind of scares me about this one, last thing on this game, is that we have kind of conceded chances in games and we've kind of got away with it sometimes. I think that Drogheda game, we conceded 1 or 2 chances. The UCD game, they had 1 or 2 chances as well. If we give Aidan Keane a chance, I think Adzi touched on it as well for Sligo, they're very, very clinical. If they get a chance, they'll take it. Aidan Keane has been taking his chances this season, so that definitely does concern me. And I'd be very surprised if he doesn't get on the score sheet. So Aidan Keane, first goal scorer, Sligo 20-0. You heard it here first. Betting tips.
That's Cheltenham talk.
Yeah, that's Cheltenham. Yeah, get that out of me. God. But yeah, moving on to the game. A few of us, we're going to be attending this one this weekend, actually. We'll probably have some content surrounding this. Not sure if we're going to do a vlog or a fan cam, something along those lines. We'll probably put something up on the socials before we head out to it. But yeah, St. Pat's playing host to Drogheda. Pat's obviously lost last weekend, didn't they? The last game they played, did they lose to Derry? Was that the last game they played, I think?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Drogheda had a fantastic win against Dundalk. So they'll be coming into this flying, really good form, Drogheda. Huge confidence boost, whereas Pats need to kind of pick themselves back up after a good little run. I think it was 3 or 4 wins in a row, and then the loss to pick themselves back up from that. But for me, I'd fancy the home win here. I think they'll have too much quality. Your Dara Burns, your Chris Forresters, your Billy Kings, your Owen Doyles. I think Owen Doyle could get on the score sheet here. So yeah, I think Pats will have too much for Drogheda. I think like maybe a 2-0 could be the buzz here.
Yeah, the Pats have been decent. I think they lost to Sligo, but other than that, I think they're unbeaten at home this season so far. And they always have such class support at Richmond Park too. We touched on like attendances being the 12th man earlier. I think it's every time I've been to Richmond Park, like the support is immense. And they'd want to kind of get back on track after them 1 or 2 poor results. But Drogheda, on the other hand, it kind of surprised me. Like the games they have lost, they have played well in spells. And that win against Dundalk was huge. Like I don't think any of us were expecting that after losing their previous like 3, I think. So yeah, no, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion as such. I think it'll be a very good game, and kind of jealous as are going over there with it.
Yeah, you're got to Bowes and Derry. I'm way more jealous of that, to be honest.
Yes.
Liam, Mancy, how do you assess this?
Yeah, I'll go for, I think it's for Manly. I think it's a Pats win. Again, we're talking about bouncing back and stuff on here tonight. Perfect game for Pats to bounce back against. I know Drogheda, they'll be high on confidence against after getting that result against Dundalk, but I think Pats will be they're a much better side than Dundalk. They're much more clinical and so on, and especially in Inchicore, especially the crowds they've been getting there as well. So I think it's a bit of formality. I'll go like 2 or 3-0 Pats as well. Especially with the likes of Dara Burns. I know he was coming back from international duty as well. He's going to be buzzing, especially after the back of that call, off the back of that call up and so on. He's going to have more confidence, and goes back to more the motivation. He'll want to get into that under 21 set up and get playing for them. So he'll be wanting to kick on after that now for himself.
100%. Lima?
Yeah, I kind of fancy Pats here, although like Drogheda, I've seen Drogheda this season, and they are obviously with the start they've had, everything like that, they're starting to gel a bit better. I do think if they make the mistakes that they kind of have been making, like obviously the 2 goals that they conceded to Shells, if they make them sort of mistakes against Pat's side, I think they could be severely punished. So I think it'll be a good game. Like I'm actually looking forward to going. I really like the ground. I think the fans are great. I do fancy Pats though. I think Pats might just nick it a 2-1 or something like that.
Yeah. I'd agree with that. So that was a unanimous home win there. And the final game of the weekend, I think this is on the Saturday evening, isn't it? Finn Harps playing, or is it? No, it's 8
Friday.
tomorrow.
It's on the Friday. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah, I'm all over the place here. Yeah, 8
Heading up,
o'clock on
Andy?
Friday.
I am. We are driving and then driving back on the same night, and don't ask us why. It is gonna be horrible.
That's out.
But
How long is the drive? It's 2.5, is it?
3 hours.
3 hours.
3 hours up and then
Christ.
3 hours back. Now, you can easily get a coach and stuff, like, but it gets a bit messy and so on, and
Yeah,
might drop you into
like
town or something, then getting a taxi from that, and you know you might stop in a booze on the way back and stuff. But like, I just want to go to the match and stuff like that. And if I didn't have a match or two the next morning or next day, I'd be grand with that. But now I want to just go up, get back straight into my bed. But yeah, I think there's 5 of us driving up to Ferry. 5 of us lads, and it's a bit of crack.
5
So
different cars, like.
no, on the one,
Like, full
which
car,
is gonna
yeah,
be
yeah.
which is gonna be fun anyway.
That'd
But
be good crack, yeah.
looking forward to it. First time being up there
Camp in
myself.
the back, 3 hours though.
Oh no, the fellow who's driving lives beside me, so I'm gonna go down to his gaff as soon as and get it to the point. So yeah, like no chance. But no, honestly, looking forward to it. Looking forward to the trip. I know there's a good rapport between the Finn Harps fans and the Rovers fans and so on. Remember, even when some Rovers, not even fans, some fella, I think he smashed up the jacks with Finn Harps, and then Rovers fans got a donation or collection going and donated it back to Finn Harps. So there's a bit of it's going to be a bit of a friendly atmosphere there and so on. With regards to the game, again, tough place to go, probably as tough as Derry, being so far away and whatnot, and especially the way that pitch is and the way Ollie Horgan likes to play his football and make it nasty for us. Rovers will want to get back to winning ways. We drew against Dundalk and Sligo. Obviously, Sligo was kind of frustrating because we played so well, but only managed to come out with a draw. I think Rovers will want to start off quick. I'm interested to see the team he picks again. Like that, I don't think his final team is picked or not, because you had Jack Byrne come on for Gary O'Neill there the last day, and I don't like taking Gary O'Neill out, as I've said plenty of times. He just holds that together. He breaks the play up, but Jack came on and he's more of a deep line playmaker. He was allowing Burke and Mandrew to get forward a lot more. So it's going to be interesting. Obviously, I'm going for the Rovers win, of course, but it's going to be tight. I'd say 1-0 or 2-1 or something. If we won by 2 goals or so, I'd be more than delighted with that. But looking forward to it all now.
Yeah, no, fair play to make the trip. Jesus, it's not easy. Not easy.
I'll let you know how it goes next week.
Yeah, do. We'll be eager to hear. I will agree with you. I think I'm going to go for the away win here as well. But as you say, it's never easy, especially the way Rovers play, like to get the ball on the deck. It's a crap pitch. Like, it's a shocking pitch.
Terrible.
So that doesn't suit Rovers at all, really, to be honest. And like, this is the type of game where Finn Harps get a free kick to get their corners. They'll live off them. They could easily nick something. You just never know. But yeah, I just think overall the quality that Rovers possess, they should have enough to get over the line. But yeah, tough game.
Yeah, fully agree with everything you said. Like, Rovers should be winning, but like, really tough place to go, difficult pitch, as you said, Ross, doesn't suit them at all. Harps would be just hoping to get a goal on the break, and we did see them, especially the back end of last season. I think they were only safe by 2 points in the end, but they picked up the odd shock result along the way, and
they had a great start.
Start
to the league. So that's what priced out. I think they were, after 10 games, they were 5th or something bizarre.
I remember last summer a few fans were spring. People were saying, "Oh, Harps for Europe, Harps for Europe."
That would be great TV.
That'd be awesome.
I'd go away with them. I'd go away with Finn Harps. I'd go away. That'd be some crack.
Holly Horgan.
But it's hard to see past a away win. But for the entertainment, I hope it's a home win or a draw. But for Adam's sanity, I'm going for away win.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Well, I'm going for a draw here. I'm gonna play devil's advocate here. I just think
way off.
I'm gonna.
Wrong thing to say.
I just think, I think Rovers have a lot of in-house problems, and they need to really sort out. Like there's egos, everything like that going on.
I think one of them has been sorted. There's been a few Instagram likes shared here and there, so hopefully.
But I just feel there's a away trip to Harps. I love getting that in every week, you know. And Finn Harps haven't got off to the worst of starts this season either. So it should be a good game. I hope for Adam's sake that Rovers get the win, but I need to make points back up on this board, so I'm going for a draw.
Going for a draw, yeah. Go to kind of rogue shout just on the go for the outside one to try and make up the points. But yeah, interesting one. I think I shift the table here. So coming into this week, lads, I'm still leading the way with joint with Soccer at top at 18 points. I think I actually missed a week there last week or whatever last week was, but just yourself flat to the mat with it all. But so me and Soccer leading there with 18 points. Griff in mid-table with 15. Liam second from bottom with 13, not a million miles off, and Tig at rock bottom with 12.
Who?
So yeah, exactly. But yeah, lads, really enjoyed that. Fair play to you.
Cheers, boys, and
Cheers,
safe trip. Yeah.
Enjoy.
Safe trip, lads.
From my own sanity, I hope so. Yeah. Cheers. Thank you very much, lads.
We're getting 3 games in. That's not bad for 4 of us here. We're getting 3 different games in. That's
Oh,
not a
God.
bad return.
Yeah, it's good going. Very good going.
We'll have a good chat next Wednesday evening anyway. But yeah, lads, enjoy the games this weekend, and everyone watching, thanks so much for tuning in, and enjoy the match that you're going to yourselves. And yeah, we'll be right back here next week at 7-ish, 7:15 maybe at a push to discuss all the action. But thanks a million for tuning in. Drop a like if you haven't done so already, and please do subscribe. It is much appreciated. Thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in a bit.
Nice one.
Lovely.